Paul was just genuine, man. You could feel his compassion for people. You could feel that he really genuinely cares about people. You know, it's not just a job for him, you know, it's a passion for him. Go to the next guy, pray. Go to the next guy. And there's one more guy in the corner, but the tour was already moving forward. I said, come on, Paul. I said, you ready? Let's go to the next building. And I'm walking, and I hear him go, Jubal. I said, yeah. Can we pray for this guy over here?
Oftentimes, you'll never be able to see a need if you don't come. You won't be able to meet a need if you don't know what it is. You can't help someone else to get out of their shoes if you don't walk in it.
A touching video made by the organization Opportunity Lives shows Speaker of the House Paul Ryan praying with and praying for drug addicts. The mission of Opportunity Lives is to highlight real-life successes and real-life solutions across America. And as you can see from the segment of the video we played, it's a touching scene. It was hard for me earlier today watching this not to tear up, watching the men and women struggling in the depths of drug addiction and those who care for them and love them. Speaker Ryan has been painted in the light of politics lately from both sides of the aisle as he begins his speakership and as we expected. But this video shows a little more personal side, his sincerity, his caring, and how he's not just sitting behind his desk in Washington, D.C., but how he's hitting the road and actively learning and participating in the solutions to the problems that face our country. This video comes shortly after President Obama announced plans to tackle drug addiction. Joining me now to discuss this is former senior aide to Senator Coburn and the editor-in-chief of Opportunity Lives, John Hart. John, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
So tell us a little bit about this video. What was your goal in producing it?
Well, that's a great question. Well, Speaker Ryan has done a good job since he's been in office, and particularly since he's become Speaker, of talking about the need for Republicans to be for ideas. And he said that we've been bold on tactics before, but we haven't been bold on policy, and that we have to show the country what we're for. So part of the mission of this video is to show this is what a conservative approach to poverty looks like. It isn't about a government program. It isn't about creating a new set of regulations. Instead, it's about finding the people around the country who are doing the work of fighting poverty person to person, man to man, woman to woman, and then finding those stories and highlighting those and making those stories and people famous. And so I give Speaker Ryan a lot of credit, and particularly Bob Woodson, who is a gentleman who runs a group called the Center for Neighborhood Enterprise. And Bob helped bring together some of these groups and introduce them to Speaker Ryan. And we were able to capture that in this video series, which is very powerful. This is just one small clip of an 86-minute video called Comeback that you can find at opportunitylives.com.
Right, yeah. Bob Woodson is a great guy. He's doing great work. I actually rode in the car with him one time on the way from an airport to a hotel at a conference, and he was just telling me all about the work that he was doing with poverty and how his solution is to empower those who've been there to go and speak to those who are currently there, and how that relatability, walking in those shoes, makes such an enormous difference in the success of programs. And I think he's just doing wonderful work. But in particular, in this video, something that really struck me when I was watching was how, even though the story is sad, and it's heartbreaking, it's a story of hope. Even though the man in the video has been addicted to heroin for 12 years, they were praying for his recovery. They knew he had potential beyond the drugs. This is such a powerful message. And I just want to ask you, how important is it to highlight these compassionate, personal journeys when talking to the American public about poverty or about drugs, instead of talking about it in the statistical, numerical sense?
Right. Well, it's vital because, look, you know, for years, conservatives have been losing this argument on how to fight poverty. Look, we've had the war on poverty since the 60s that spent $22 trillion, which is more than all the wars combined in our history. So what we have to do is not just highlight the failures of the war on poverty, though, but to show what actually works. And again, what works are these stories of redemption, these stories of people in their communities getting involved with their neighbors and not giving up on people, not just tolerating people in addiction, but actually intervening in their life, getting involved, lifting them up, and encouraging them to then do the same thing with other people in their community. And that's, you know, Woodson describes these as antibodies, is that when the body's sick, it forms antibodies that are then capable of going out and changing the environment within the body. And that's how communities can be transformed as well. It's doing person to person, one person at a time, could then go reach 2 or 3 and then a dozen and then more. And that's really what the conservative vision for fighting poverty is about. Again, it's not just about criticizing the size and scope of government, although that's vital. But for years, conservatives communicate head to head, but liberals tend to communicate heart to heart. So what we have to do is to show these stories and highlight the people like Bob Woodson, like Jubal Garcia, who's in this video, and others who are featured in the Comeback series, and encourage other people to follow their example.